And welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Time for Opinion Court. Please do get in touch with us, 22422. That's our SMS line. If you're on Twitter or Facebook, please use the hashtag Opinion Court. It allows us to track your conversation. And of course, you can find us with this handle at Citizen TV Kenya. I want to reintroduce my panel to you. To my immediate right is Alois Lentoimaga. He's the Vice Chair of the Committee on Administration and National Security, the one that vetted Dr. Monicah Juma and rejected her. In the middle, of course, is Edward Kisiangani, our resident political analyst. And next to him, Winfred Lichuma, the Chair of the National Gender and Equality Commission, that has been vocal on this rejection today. But let's start by playing you a little clip of Dr. Monicah Juma, who is the Permanent Secretary for the Interior. She was to be moved, at least President Kenyatta hoped that she would be the Secretary to the Cabinet. Let's listen in to what she had to say on security matters, specifically on an interview on Sunday Live with Julie Gishuru.
Come to the critical issue of the coastal region. Now you're dealing with one kind of insecurity when it comes to cattle rustling and banditry that we've seen for years on end. Now looking at the coast, this is a morphing situation. Today, brazen attack on a barracks and on police lines. It looks like a coordinated attack. What's your comment on that?
Julie, let me start by saying that the foiling of these attacks is an indication of how much the security forces are doing. Now, I have heard some people belittling this and say, you know, these were people carrying machetes, whatever, but they also had petrol bombs. Their intention could not have been positive. I mean, they were not knocking on that door for breakfast, for heaven's sake.
Looking for access to arms?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, and one of the things that our constitution and our country has brought us to is the liberalization and democratization. Part of that is the information, these gadgets that we are carrying around. There is no doubt that you cannot hit two places at the same time without very good coordination. So there was an attempt to coordinate. But I think we need to look up as Kenyans and say, we have security forces that are actually foiling this. And there are very many foiled attempts that the security forces are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And that is why we want to calm this nation, to say that they are officers that have given their lives, that have given their commitment, and that are working to secure this nation.
Thank you for that, and thank you for joining.
And that was just to give you a sort of introduction to her in case you had not come across her. And in fact, the president defends her in a statement that was issued out of State House this evening, saying that his decision to nominate her was informed by the distinction and success that she has earned in serving the nation as an ambassador to the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, permanent representative to the African Union, as the defense principal secretary, and in her current position, the principal secretary in the Ministry of Interior and National Development. So those are her accolades. That is her performance. Let me start with you, Vice Chair. There was such a spirited rejection by MPs today of Dr. Monicah Juma, no less led by yourselves as the vetting panel. Why so?
Yeah, I think I can express the sentiments of the members of Parliament right from the committee level. I think we know that this country has been facing a big problem in security. And in the view of the members of Parliament, they are being bombarded by the communities where they represent, that the government is so slow in reacting to atrocities against their citizens, including Al-Shabaab, cattle rustling, and name them. There are so many issues that affect Kenyans, especially on insecurity. And at this level, at the national level, the only place we can run to when a place is burning, the nerve center of where we can sort out these issues, is that office, 4th floor, Arambe House. And it has been happening for a long time, since 1963. And this office is represented right up to from the region to the county to the location, to division and sub-location. We, like anybody else, members of Parliament, they represent a citizen. One of our mandate among the three is representation. And Article 1 of the Constitution gives us that mandate that we have to go and represent people. We are not, when you go to that office, to any government office, we actually go on behalf of those Kenyans whom we represent. If we go to an office and your problem is not solved and the place is burning, what else do? You have to make noise. You have to make a lot of complaint. And in my background, for the short time that I've been a member of parliament, I've seen the offices are almost inaccessible.
And you're making reference to the letter by Dr. Juma, but was it specific in barring MPs from coming to her, or was her concern that some of the requests that were being made posed a challenge in as far as, you know, the code of conduct of civil servants?
In my view, I've been a civil servant. The letter is not an issue, in my view. The letter is not an issue. The letter just came as a national problem. But from the beginning, and we're not blaming just Monicah Juma as a person. We're not talking about, please let us not trivialize to look as if it's a person. It is the institution of that office. Actually, this is the office itself, right from the CS up to there. If we are not able to address insecurity in this country, and especially from northern Kenya and the other areas of northeastern, and the president gave the mandate that office, if they are not able to address, and people are being killed, and people are being displaced, property is being destroyed or taken away, where do we go?
So this is a performance issue for you in her position as
performance.
Okay. Which is a different take, because actually the chair of your committee, Asman Kamama, gave her a positive rating in as far as her qualifications and performance in her previous position. So this is sort of new information.
I agree with you that her performance is background in other jobs. We don't dispute. She has a exemplary schedule. But for this particular office, we found there's a problem.
But I find it difficult to understand you in as far as she was actually supposed to move away from that office. So if you're saying that her qualifications outside of her performance as the PS of the Interior are great, then she wasn't going to be the PS of the Interior. Had Parliament approved her, she would have been Secretary to the Cabinet, where you are conceding that, you know, her qualifications are good.
The Cabinet Secretary to the Cabinet, there's no difference between Cabinet Secretary. Actually, Interior Ministry is an extension of State House, for your information, where she was going to go. There's no difference. Actually, Interior Ministry resolve problems which would have gone to the State House.
Yeah, though I think not directly. Because clearly, if the committee is conceding that she has the requisite qualification, she has vast experience, and with the statement from State House clearly indicating, and I met Monica when she served as the Kenyan ambassador in Addis, and clearly looking at the records, and when you asked me to come to the show, I did a quick run with Professor Kobia, who really looks at what is done by all the public servants. And her response is that Monica is one of the hard-working principal secretaries. And if anything to go by what Mheshimiwa here is saying, she's okay, her performance is good, but I just want to tease out one issue. Could it be a patriarchy issue? That a woman not being accepted to serve in a security docket? Because clearly, from what he says, there's more than meets the eye. And as you've said, the letter is a very innocent letter. It's on a specific issue. And in public office, we issue letters on different aspects. This particular letter is about members of parliament going to the Daktari's office, seeking transfers or not, or revoking transfers of officers within her docket. So I really cannot understand how it then becomes a generalization that she has closed her door, unless there's more than what we see.
That's not it.
Well, he's saying it's not even about closing the door. He's saying it's about her competency and performance specifically.
In that specific ministry. Because, for example, I can take my own example. You know, Baragoi, Awiti, the problem is the problem Waragoi has not been solved up to now. In March, we lost 25 people death in March, between March and now. In March, in the same time, people are displaced and schools have been closed. And there's a continuous atrocities against Kenyans in that area. Police are deployed there. They are not ready to work. They have refused to work. Where do I go? That is the office where I go to.
There's been, sorry, Prof, I'm going to come to you very shortly. I know you're eager to comment. If you would hold on, you're talking about security, but part of at least the allegations that are coming out now, well, that have been coming out over a period of time has been that politicians have been complicit in the insecurity that has been witnessed in these areas. And perhaps this was the way of the MPs from that region to punish her for her tough stance on them.
Not really. That's not true. Inaction by government has as MPs from that region, governors, senators, members of National Assembly and Senate, we have gone round to tell our people to hold on, keep peace. The side where government should the role of government is missing. And when you go to these offices, nothing. We are not. There's nothing which is being done. You know, even if we only want to keep peace between me and you, I can agree that I will not steal this paper.
Please don't.
Okay? But suppose, and you also agree that you don't get this glass from me.
Right.
But in the case, a rogue fellow among the two groups that are warring, because they will have to break somehow. Somebody who is not in the, even if it's in the agreement, one of us in either of the parties will break that agreement. Who is going to enforce that agreement? It's the government, which we have surrendered our rights for the time being. So, and that government, which we voted in, should be able to assist us. But if it's not, it's missing in the equation and it's in the ground.
Can I ask
so the supervisor,
I'll ask you to hold on your question, Miss.
The supervisor of that particular government is that office. It is the highest office in the land. That is why
Fair
it is.
enough.
Okay.
Prof, is this a gender issue, a performance issue? What do you see playing out?
I don't think it is a gender matter. Some fellows are just irresponsible. There is nothing like gender here, because I think even when you look at what the commissioner Juma is saying, there is already Rachel Omamo who was approved to head the defense docket. So we cannot go that direction. If we go that direction, we shall miss the main issues. I think. There are men in this country who are not doing very well. There are also women who are not doing very well. And so really we must focus and deal with the case the way it comes. Now in this case, I have just a few things to ponder. The first one is this. When did the parliament, especially the Committee on the Administration of Justice, learn that Monicah Juma, Dr. Monicah Juma was incompetent? And if they came to know about it a few months back, did they, raise the matter with the president? Because, or they wanted to set a trap and wait for her when they, after the appointment, then they deal a deadly blow like that.
And if she wasn't appointed?
Yes, so if she wasn't appointed, would she still be there, or you would move a vote of no confidence in her? Because what we want is not... If she has made mistakes, we don't want to excuse her. But what is looking like the case here is that you are passing a vote of no confidence in the president. The president has already responded that he thinks the lady is competent. You say she isn't, and you have been blaming her office. Why don't you just go for President Uhuru Kenyatta? Why are you not doing that?
We have already sounded, earlier on, we had already indicated that that office needs somebody who is able to interact and who can take the issues that are being presented, not necessarily by members of parliament, but even ordinary Kenyans, that somebody who can take action, and quick action. That office is a call for anything that that means life and death, that issues about emergency in nature. that can be fixed now.
You know what? There are challenges, Mheshimiwa. I want to add something.
You asked me a question.
Yes.
So let me finish. So we sounded a warning from December.
You told the president.
Don't.
Who are you warning?
Is it in written?
No,
who are you warning?
You don't have to. We express things in many ways, and it's not just the committee alone. This thing, when Parliament is a big institution, and you cannot just tell somebody. You cannot just say that you are going to be in charge of everybody. People will go, members of Parliament or members of the system go there. That office is an open office, it's a public office, and people can make a judgment as they go there. No particular person can say that I don't want this. And in fact, as you are saying, it's not about gender. A man could have even been sent away home if he's not performing in that particular office.
Yeah, but it also appears to be about arrogance, and the committee used that word specifically, that you allege that she was arrogant. And does that mean that
she doesn't have passion?
That unless somebody, if somebody is not at MP's beck and call, then you're going to punish them, because this appears to be a witch hunt. Because the story you're giving us here today is different from what the committee's recommendations about her were. They say that she was arrogant.
Arrogance?
Yes.
Yes, it came out.
Yeah. So
and clearly, the question I want to ask Anne, was Daktari Monicah being vetted, or was she being appraised? Because clearly what Mheshimiwa is saying here is her performance in the docket that she formerly held. But what I get
which is an appraisal.
Which is an appraisal. And if we are praising her, I think then we would be appraising all the other principal secretaries. But it's unfortunate that we single out Anne because somebody has noticed that she's capable, she's able to perform, and is pointing out to another slightly higher office. And what I look at the public appointments parliamentary approval legislation that the House is using, Mheshimiwa, I see in Article 7 3 things. That in vetting, you look at the abilities, you look at the experience, you look at the qualities. Out of these 3, which of these is Daktari not capable of? And then 2,
perhaps let him answer to that.
Let him answer that.
Yes. In my view, what is happening here is this is a unique office. Okay? This is unique, like different from any other office.
The one she's holding, or where she's supposed to go? Because I think we are confusing 2 things.
Where she was holding is unique. And I've said
but now she's moving to another office, so the vetting was for the new office.
You see, that is exactly why I was saying that.
Yes.
They have already passed a vote of no confidence in the president's appointment. And by extension, what they have done, they have impeached from the back door, they have impeached Monicah Juma.
Exactly.
So they are saying she didn't perform very well in that office, so she cannot take another.
So is it an appraisal or a vetting?
So it was an appraisal. I must wind up now because we're out of time. But there has been a lot of heated response on this on social media, and we'll read it out, albeit a little later, in terms of Parliament's own ability to, to be above board and not to succumb to what some have thought in this instance was basically a kind of revenge mission. And does Parliament have the credibility to still continue with its oversight functions? Perhaps let
I think we have the we work on the mandate of the people. This particular issue is about frustration. Okay, that this particular office is where is a point of call. And I think all of us understand that there's a problem in security. So when you go there and nothing is being fixed, it's totally frustration. Somebody is not sensitive to what you are explaining to her. Let me just finish the prop. So the issue is we need somebody who would have been there who can internalize the issues that we are talking about.
Is that person to be a man?
Not necessarily. A man or a woman, anybody.
All right. Okay. Prof, let's get
you see, Anne, with this quality of parliamentarians, I don't want to be a parliamentarian. Let me tell you, the reason is this. We are asking very specific questions or matters of procedure. He's not answering. So, if you set standards like the ones they have set, they are saying she's arrogant, I bet they're looking at Article 6, I mean, Chapter 6 of the Constitution, which says that you must have respect for the people. But do the same rules apply to the parliamentarians? Have they set the highest standards that we can respect them? Which also goes back to the question you are raising. This parliament colluded recently and reduced the amount of money for the judiciary.
Exactly.
Because the judiciary has interpreted the constitution correctly and told them that you are doing oversight, you cannot spend money and do oversight over yourselves. They don't want to listen to that. Today they are telling us that this lady is not competent and therefore she should not hold office. And when you ask her what specifically, as the parameters that Madam Juma has said, what did she violate, they don't say it. So therefore, you have a parliament which is applying rules which they don't themselves apply. They have been accused of all sorts of things, including kickbacks, and now he's talking now he's talking about security in northern Kenya. And you know, Anne, you have already pointed out to it that in northern Kenya, some of these people who are complaining against Monicah Juma are themselves combatants, and they are very difficult to handle. When a decision is taken against them, they blame the office of the president.
All right, let's take.
There is no. I'm going
to come to you, sir. We're going to take final views, beginning with you, Winfred.
Okay, for me, I think Parliament is not above the law. We set the law and they need to follow the law. And it's unfortunate that Parliament would want to bring down the career of Monicah just in a minute by saying yes or no. In my view, Monicah has done very well. Maybe the mistake she did is being a woman, because for me, clearly, as I see Mheshimiwa explaining here, it's like that office needs somebody who is tough, who is this, and that cannot be Monicah. I think if I were the president, I would still give back the name of Monicah for a second vetting round, because I believe she qualifies.
Okay.
Your final thoughts?
I think I want to say that on the issue of the budget, on judiciary, the prof has just mentioned, there is no extra money from anywhere. When Parliament appropriates money, you will have to look at the needs of that particular request. Where do we get the money? Do you want to look for extra taxes?
Why not your own?
Fair enough. Let's focus on today's decision by Parliament.
And then the issue of members of Parliament being corrupt, the way he has just said, I don't think that's the issue. The issue is not here. The issue is not, I don't think that's the true picture about that. The issue is about that you have a problem. We need to go, when you go to an office, you have to, that problem should be fixed, especially on security. And we have a big problem.
But this wasn't about security.
She's the one managing security.
Monicah wasn't vetted, and fair enough. Go back for vetting.
Fair enough. Your final views and what this portends for the country, the way Parliament is acting.
This parliament should have been dissolved a long time ago. But unfortunately, it violates the constitution, passes the constitutional laws, and sets very high standards for other people, but not itself. So for me, you know, the information that we are getting is that we do not know why this lady was rejected.
Exactly.
That is the point.
She wasn't vetted.
We don't know why. The president's message also is the same as the one I'm putting. The president doesn't understand why she was not why she was not approved. So it's only Parliament which can tell us, and he has performed miserably tonight. He hasn't told us what the problem is. So we leave it to them.
They are praised.
Lady and gentlemen, that's all the time.
No, I'm disappointed in you.
Honestly, because we have no
I'm also disappointed in you. Because you have been
I'm going to get some.
I thank you for your spirited views, but we must end it there. We're taking a break. I'm back with more after this.